Welcome, everybody, to Drive Through Sports with Adam and Paul. Today is Thursday, June the 25th, 2020. Adam Freeman coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia. Paul Breece is in Brentwood, Tennessee, and left the show off last night, Breece, talking about you kind of called me out there, and you're going to head south on 75, and you're going to take me on at my home course, apparently, since I booked the tee time today.
Well, I had to come out, do a little pro wrestling shoot on you, challenge a winner to take all or a loser leave town match or, shaved head match or something like that. And so we had to, I went WWE on you. But yes, man, heading down your way come next, Wednesday night?
Wednesday night. Heading down July 1st. You will be in outside of the ATL. You'll either be staying,
which is perfect.
Yes. Yeah. You don't want to, that's another thing that I love about living where we live. Like when we go to Nashville or Murfreesboro or wherever, unlike when we lived in Lilburn where you had to go through Atlanta and then back up 85. I mean, we're literally about 8 miles off the interstate on the north side of town, which makes it such an easy drive in. Traffic, you're not going to hit interstate traffic at all, unless you go through Chattanooga at the wrong time or whatever. But yeah, man, you should get down here, no sweat, no problem. I booked the tee time on Golf Now. Had a discount. I used my discount along with the hot deal.
Wow. Well, let's hear the total.
So with tax and all for both of us, it was $65.
Okay.
So we're good to go. 12:30 Thursday, July 2nd. Yours truly, Paul Breece, will be battling it out at Woodland Hills Golf Club in Cartersville, Georgia. Now, what's the format going to be? Are we going to do stroke play? We're going to do holes? What are we going to do?
I'm the visitor.
You're the visitor. All right, so I got to figure this out.
House rules, man. House rules.
House rules. All right, I'll figure it out. I'll figure out how we're going to do it if we do strokes or holes. I guess that would be match play then.
Match play, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, so okay. You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go ahead and call it now. We're going to do match play.
Make it happen.
Match play. All right, and so
match play for fun or match play for money?
I think you gotta. Well, yeah, I think winner buys dinner. I think that's probably pretty fair.
Hey, winner buys dinner.
Yeah, winner buys dinner.
I'm gonna lose then.
I mean, loser pays. Loser pays. Winner buys dinner. Loser pays. So I think that'll work. That'll be all right. That'll work out okay. But yeah, I think that ought to be fun, and it ought to be a good time for both of us. And the
only thing that's going to stop me is a thunderstorm.
Yeah, I just hope that. And I haven't looked at the weather. I mean, normally get decent 10-day outlook. Yeah. That's the one thing I did not look at, and I probably should have. But at this point, it looks like we got 50-50.
50-50.
Yeah, 50-50 on July 2nd.
It's like getting into my car. There's a 50% chance the gas light's on.
Oh, speaking of which, we're driving from this was Monday night. We're driving from Chattanooga to Lake Tansy, and we're, I think, on 111, which is basically, it's basically a divide. It's an interstate, it's Highway 111, but it's 2 lanes. It's 4 lanes, 2 lanes going one way, 2 lanes going the other, with a median in the middle. So it's basically like an interstate. And we hit this weather, and I'm driving like 40 miles an hour, as I said the other day. But I was paying so much attention to the weather that I totally forgot and didn't know how much gas we had, because we were going to get gas when I picked up Terry, and I go to the pump put my card in, start pumping the gas, and it pumps like 9 cents worth of gas into my car and stops working. So then I pull around to another pump, and it pumps like 48 cents worth of gas in, and it stops working. So I'm like, forget this. I have like a half a tank of gas. That's enough to get us up there and plus some. Well, I thought. So I lose track of basically, again, I'm so concerned with the weather and the rain and everything. And I look, all of a sudden my gas light's on. And I'm driving my wife's car, which gets about 20 miles a gallon. So I don't know how much time we got left. And freaking out a little bit because it's not like you're driving on 75 and there's a gas station every exit. I mean, or an exit every, 8 miles or whatever. I mean, I didn't know. I'd never driven on this road. So it's freaking out a little bit, but turns out I made it to a gas station and able to fill up. But yeah, 50-50 shot on the rain on Thursday, July 2nd. Hopefully that will change because, I mean, again, it's 7 days out and Friday's looking good. So maybe the weather moves through a little faster and we'll be in good shape.
All right.
Yeah. But
I'm excited. Here we go.
Okay. So we're ready for that. We got that to look forward to. So I don't know what your school system has done. Our school system just came out today and said basically that we're starting August 3rd with face-to-face, and parents have the option to do online. And they have to decide by July 11th.
Oh, wow.
What they're going to do. So, and if they commit to online, they have to do it for the entire fall semester.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I sort of anticipate that you will have more high school parents that will do that than elementary or middle school because, the high school kids can be at home by themselves more so than an elementary or middle school kid. And the parents are going to be going back to work, transitioning back to work, most everybody. So by that time, at least I think so. So it'll be interesting to see how many people are in the building day one, August 3rd. So that came through today, but have y'all gotten any information on yours?
Yeah, they sent out a survey today to the parents.
Yeah, we got one too.
Yeah, so I guess everybody's under the same.
Oh yeah. We got the survey. How comfortable are you with this? How comfortable are you, with this? Relatively, not at all. I'm concerned. I'm not concerned. It's one of those deals. So, what's funny about it is, you get and I don't know if y'all are probably the same deal, but you get this and it's like anonymous, but they ask you questions like, okay, what school are you with? Sometimes they'll ask you what school, what department, how many years you've been teaching, what, and it's like, and you're doing this on like your school computer. So they know exactly, who's doing what. It's just kind of funny that it's called anonymous. And I think everybody kind of knows it's not. Anyway, it's data driven. So they're trying to get some information, but,
Sure.
Anyway, so that leads me to something I saw on Twitter today, and it doesn't lead me directly there. I just happened to see it. Somebody posted a question, opinion, and considering how my body feels today, it's really kind of catching up with me today. And the average person versus like your pro athlete. We talk about how it's going to take these guys a little while to round into form and to go training camp and spring training and workouts and practices and all that sort of stuff. So the question was asked, for an average person, what do you think would be easier, scoring a basket in the NBA or scoring a touchdown in the NFL? What do you think?
Well, my answer was immediate: scoring a basket in the NBA.
I
mean, it seems like a no-brainer, especially if you've seen a NBA game in person. You would think that there is a way that you could somehow finagle your way with the basketball gods to get one in. Now, if it's playoff defense, it would be a little bit more difficult. But there's no way you're scoring a touchdown in the NFL. Me, you, average Joe,
Listen,
no way.
No, and I take it a little bit differently. I agree, basketball gods could shine on you, but I look at it this way: if you're playing a basketball game, you probably have multiple shots to score. Your teammates will feed you; they'll drive the lane and kick it to you, maybe just to see if you can hit a shot. Maybe you miss. A couple possessions later, you might have another open shot. If you're playing pro football in a pro football game, you got one chance to score, because if you take a hit, you're out. You're coming out of that game because you survived getting hit by those dudes. There's no way, unless you carry the ball and you just run out of bounds and you realize it's not there and you just run out of bounds, or you just slide. There's no way you're getting another carry, another target, nothing like that. So yeah, I definitely am with you on that. I think it's definitely more likely that you could be able to score a basket in an NBA game versus touchdown. You're not crossing the goal line on an NFL defense. Yeah, the defense in the NBA is regular season pretty lax, very lax.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right. So next thing that we had kind of mentioned in the pre-show was, and I know again you don't want to talk about this, but just change the subject if you don't want to with something better. All right. So baseball apparently is playing 60 games. So they're thinking about doing it in Toronto because of the outbreak of Corona in Florida, the increased number of cases. And I don't know if that's going to happen, but they're also talking about, I saw today that it was either the mayor of Chicago or the governor of Illinois said that they're contemplating having baseball in Wrigley Field with partial, letting certain numbers of fans go to the games. And again, I don't know how that would be determined, who gets to go. If the place is, I guess, your season ticket holders, maybe, what percentage it would be. But I was trying to think if Atlanta did that, you talk about the hottest ticket in town. Oh my goodness, it wouldn't matter how many people you let into the game. Let's say Truist Park seats 38,000. Let's say you let 20% in. So you got 7,000 people in there or 8,000 people in there. Dude, there'll be 50,000 people at the Battery and at the park, just surrounding tailgating and everything else. So, I don't know what you would accomplish if you'd be able to accomplish the social distancing if you're saying, okay, the Braves and the Astros are playing, Friday night at 7:05, and only these. And in Atlanta, they have people that have tickets. They have what's called A-list, which are the tickets that my sister-in-law has. And I don't know how many people have A-list tickets, but I would assume that season ticket holders would be the first ones that'll be eligible to even go. But again, you wouldn't be able to control anything that's happening outside the stadium. That would be kind of my thing.
All right. I'm going to give you my 2 cents to this whole thing, whether it's baseball, basketball, football.
Yeah.
The team that can create an environment of social distancing the best in the clubhouse and post games is going to do well. There is going to be positive Corona tests. You can't stop it.
Yeah.
So it's all about timing. It's all about which team is going to be the most proactive in their what? Now I'm lost. What am I trying to say?
Their protocols and their handling of it. Yeah.
Yeah, their handling of the hands down. If you're traveling, just to board, throw everybody on the plane. Are they going to wear masks on the plane?
Yeah.
When they get to the hotel, obviously major league players have they're not minor leaguers anymore. Everybody probably gets their own room for sure.
Yeah. Well, what happens
But
if a staff member tests positive?
that's right. If somebody at the hotel,
you got to move them out of the hotel, the whole team at the
yeah,
top of the hat. They got to pack up and move.
yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. I think you're right. Whoever handles it best. And another thing too, 60 games. I mean,
that's a lot of traveling, right?
That's a lot. They're going to be playing. They're used to playing back-to-back days anyway. But, you're talking about, I think, 60 games in like 67 days or something like that in the regular season. Which again, they're more used to. The NBA guys are the ones that bellyache about the back-to-back and all that stuff. But if when you're playing 60 games, like if you get swept in the first series and you're 0-4, you could be 3 or 4 games back in your division right out of the gate.
You're going to have that magic letter E next to your name.
Yeah, real soon.
Standings.
Real soon. Eliminated from playoff contention. So sure. I think it's real important in the MLB season to get off to a good start. The team that can get off to a good start and avoid injuries and getting guys on the DL, because a 60-game season, a guy goes out with a hamstring, he's going to miss 20 games, and or he gets hit by a pitch, he might miss 30 games or more. So, I think that injuries are going to be even more amplified in this shortened format.
Now, from what I understand, they're expanding the rosters, right, or no?
I think they are expanding the rosters. Yeah. They're giving more pitchers, like deeper bullpen. I think. I think they're going from 25 to 31, I believe. I'd have to double check that, but they are expanding it. But and kind of an offshoot of this, kind of a tangent. As we're driving through Chattanooga, AT&T Field is right there. It was just kind of sad to see it empty. And you kind of wonder, well, if that franchise is no more, what do you do with that ballpark? Do you bulldoze it, or does baseball come back to Chattanooga? Baseball's been in Chattanooga for over 100 years. In some way, shape, or form. It would just be a shame for it to
let me tell you, I don't know if you heard this or not, Adam, but the Nashville Sounds have put out a plan to host a 40-game season with unsigned free agents.
Really?
Yeah. And so and the current plan you could have 25% of capacity at First Tennessee Park. And I believe that is let's see, 15,000. So 25% of that.
So it's about 4,000 people.
Yeah. So
now, who would they be playing though? Would they be playing other teams with the same in their league that are doing the same thing?
In my opinion, from what I've read, the plan is to sign 40 players where 2 teams will play against each other. So maybe it's just the 2 teams, or it says each of the 30 Major League Baseball players will be allowed to invite 60 players to camp, with 30 being allowed on this roster for the first game of the season. I'm not sure if it's multiple teams or not. I would have to do some more reading on it, but Nashville has they're going to try to sign 40 players where 2 teams will play games against one another. So
at least you have baseball in Nashville for the.
I think they're trying.
Yeah.
I think they're trying. So
well, that gets us to another. And I just got something a second ago. The Dodgers have reported positive tests already.
Yeah.
President of the Dodgers basically said they've got they've got some positive tests there. And the health precautions there are, I think the pamphlet's like over 100 pages long of like
Well,
what to do.
here's the deal. And just like as we've learned with the PGA Tour and, anything else, and it may come up with NASCAR as well. From the start of the tournament to the end of the tournament, for an example, a PGA Tour event, protocols, everybody's following exactly how they do it. It's what happens between Monday and Wednesday that things can go south, and people are left to their own vices and to determine how they, quote unquote,
Self-quarantine or
and how they feel really about COVID. And, I think there's obviously various opinions on whether you mask, you don't mask, social distancing, not so. And you take all those people and mesh them together and they follow the rules. But once they wave goodbye to each other on Sunday, all bets are off. And so, I think, that's what's going to happen is you're going to have to basically a self-prison type situation to make sure that there's not a trickle-down effect of positive tests that show up if you send these guys home. For example, Major League Baseball is a homestand, and they get to go home.
Yeah.
That's not a good situation for the homestanding team.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
They come back the next morning and,
somebody's cousin came over.
Exactly. LA has a 10-game homestand. They play 3 games. Justin Turner goes home, comes back the next morning, and he takes the test like he does every day, and he tests positive. Well, now he's gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? That's 10, 12 games that he's out. That's 20% of the season he's missing now because cousin Johnny came over, had some barbecue, and he was sick and he coughed or whatever. So, yeah, and you think about all the NFL too. Now the NFL, latest news out of the NFL was the Hall of Fame committee canceled the Hall of Fame game.
That's
which,
correct.
To me, not a big deal. That's the easiest thing to cancel, right? And it wasn't like the NFL canceled it. The Hall of Fame committee canceled it.
And I'm sure the Steelers and the Cowboys
they're
thrilled beyond that they do not have to go to
Canton,
Ohio
on August the 5th. They would have had to report to camp 10 days earlier than everybody else play this game, and that would be their first of what would end up being 5 preseason games instead of 4 because they're playing in this prestigious game. So they're the happiest 2 teams in the NFL right now that this game's not being played. Now they've agreed to play it next year, but still, things may change next year where they may only have 2 preseason games, and this would just be the 3rd game. We don't know, but they're not worried. They're not concerned about it. But I don't think the NFL is either. And a lot of people were saying, well, does this mean that we're not going to have NFL football on September 5th? No, this means this game got canceled by the Hall of Fame committee. That was something that the Ohio, governors and city councilmen and all those people, they just basically were like, let's be prudent and just, keep the safety of the players and the fans, because they sold out that game, I think, in like 20 minutes when the tickets went on sale because it was Pittsburgh and Dallas.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Kind of a history thing. So the NFL didn't call it off, and I think that was initially what everybody thought. That's why it was such a big story today, but they didn't call it off. The Hall of Fame committee called it off, not the NFL. So it wasn't their call. So everything is still scheduled to start as usual with the NFL. But again, getting back to your point, they go to camp for 2 weeks, then they go home, and you come back and up temperature check, 100.5. Sorry. You got any other symptoms? I've had a sore throat. Well, sorry. You're out. Did you talk to anybody on your way in? And you're out for 2 weeks. And so I think it becomes problematic. and it's going to be difficult. And like you said, it's going to be the teams that handle it and are able to juggle it and juggle lineups, because especially with baseball, that's a big part of a manager's job anyway, is to handle day-to-day lineups with injuries and substitutions and all that. You're going to really see who can manage a baseball team, truly manage it this year. You're going to see who can really coach a football team, NFL and college, come the fall. With all the testing that's going to be done. So it's just,
and I tell you what, Adam, I don't think there's a manager, a coach that loves to go on the road and play. There may be some that feel like they focus a little better, but for these sporting seasons coming up, they all want to be the visiting team because they know they can control where they are, what they're doing, how they're going to stay together, and nobody gets to veer off. And
I totally agree with that. The one case where the visiting team is going to have a decided advantage because the visiting team is in the bubble, the home team is not. They're sleeping in their own beds, they're around their kids. Their kids are going to be at school, coming home.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. Like, we both teach. So, I'm fully convinced it's been around since November, December. We've been exposed to it in sometime in January, February.
Yeah.
And, I hope that we are learning, or what will end up becoming of it is that it's not quite as it's prevalent, but it's not quite as dangerous to people that don't have pre-existing conditions. And I think that's kind of what we're finding out. The cases are going up because we're testing more, but the hospitalizations are down and the mortality rate is down, which is a good sign that maybe we can get back to some form of normalcy in our lives. But yeah, you're going to see. It's almost like they don't even put so-and-so test positive, 8 Clemson, 23 Clemson players, so-and-so, 6 Alabama players, 10 Houston. They're not even doing that anymore because people just know it's going to happen.
Just part of the norm.
Yeah, now it's part of the norm that people are getting positive tests. And I don't know if there's a test. Is there a testing place near you, like in Brentwood?
Let me tell you something, Adam. You will recognize the great testing center that Williamson County has set up at the Williamson County Ag Center.
Really?
Off Goose Creek.
Goose Creek bypass. Oh my God.
It's
gosh.
I think it's a little drive-through action, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, there's one on Highway 41. It's it's a 3-story building, but it's a physician's immediate med, and they've set one up in the parking lot. And the cars it's like a Chick-fil-A drive-through. They're wrapped around the thing twice. Every time I drive by there, they're wrapped. Now, part of that, I think, is there are more people that have symptoms that want to know if they have coronavirus, but also more people are going back to work. And I think a lot of these employers are saying, hey, I want you to get tested before you come back. Now, I don't know if that's for sure or not. That's just a feeling that I have, that with a lot of people going back to work, that's what they're doing. They're saying, hey, I know we're going to start coming back to work, but I need you to go get tested, just for your sake, for the company's sake, for your coworkers, all that sort of stuff. So we know that we're dealing with a clean slate. So, but yeah, always packed around the building. But anyway, all right. So getting to the end of tonight's episode, we appreciate you guys listening. Follow us on Twitter at D-Through Sports, and check out our YouTube channel, Drive Through Sports with Adam and Paul, and listen to all of our episodes. We now have well over 50 episodes available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeart. So we encourage you guys to follow and subscribe to those and listen as often as you can. Great for a workout, 30 minutes on the treadmill, pop in Drive Through Sports episode. You might learn something. You never know. So
Oh man.
tomorrow night is going to be our Facebook Live. We're going to go at 9. Is that?
Oh, I may have some breaking news.
Uh-oh.
There's a wedding that I'm supposed to attend.
Dude, I thought you outgrown weddings. We're too old to
Yeah,
have weddings. Oh,
you're exactly right. Yeah,
oh
100%.
boy. Oh
This is
boy.
a wedding that my lovely wife has been instructed me that
You will
kind of need to attend.
Gotcha. Okay. That's
But
cool.
listen, Facebook Live in the afternoon,
Ooh, okay.
different audience.
Different audience, maybe. Different audience. What are we talking about? What time? Because I can hype it up.
Yeah, I mean 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
All right, 2 p.m. Central.
Yeah.
All right, that way we can get it done, and we can get it done. Then I can go take a nap.
Oh man.
Oh, hello, Houston. Hello. All right. So that's what we'll do. Facebook Live. It won't be Friday Night Live. It'll be a early bird edition of Facebook Live with.
We'll call it Friday Afternoon Delight.
No, we won't. No, we're not calling it that. All right. But we'll do that at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern time. I'll get that out on social media. But tune in if you are available. You're sitting at the pool. Check us out. And we would appreciate it. All right. For Paul Breece in Brentwood, Tennessee, Adam Freeman here in Atlanta, Georgia, you've been listening to Drive Through Sports with Adam and Paul.